Friday, we can do your presentations again. The presentations are going to be pretty simple, and it's going to kind of go back to what's on this rubric that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. On Thursday, we're going to do lesson I6, and then I7 we're working on Friday. We're not doing both of these Thursday. I just got to change that and delete that. So, as you are looking at that. So, if you are taking a look at your two-way tables and making these tables, it is very important how you set them up. So when you think about your questions that we are looking at, started out, especially as I take a look, like maybe at this one where it says customers were asked if they like chicken and beef and whether they like rice or pasta as you were taking a look at that one. So when you start to make that two-way table in I3, you need to make sure that you are putting your first one, in this case, the chicken, beef. Does it matter if you put chicken beef here or if you put chicken beef over here? Does it matter at all? Not at all. And then you're always going to have a total when we look at ours. Now, ours is not going to be chicken and beef. It's going to be the two questions that you interviewed someone on. The first question, so question 1 will kind of go over here. Question 2 will go over here. In this one, it was then, did they like rice or pasta? And you should have had your total. Okay? You are then going to be asked to make a two-way table from it after you survey your classroom. After you've done that, you are going to be asked to find some relative frequencies. So when you are looking through the rest of these questions, does anyone have a question on finding relative frequency by the row or by the column or taking a look at anything else as you look at I3 that I could go through? The one that I want to take a look at is in when you are looking at here. So you're going to have to make the jogging and aerobics. So this is keep turning in your workbook. You got yours? Okay. So if you look at page 38, right? On page 38, you are looking at this Venn diagram. So in this two-way table, you're going to be asked to find percentages today when we do ours. Ours are going to be row percentage as we are looking at ours. But you're going to do a two-way table and you'll also have to make a Venn diagram from your data. So here it says, once I have this Venn diagram, make a two-way table. So the question is, what do I need to put for my category? If you go with jogging up here, then this is going to be not jogging. And you're going to have your total behind that. If I look at my other category, I have aerobics, and then non-aerobics. And again, does it matter if I put the aerobics and non-aerobics on the top? Not at all. You could have them in either place as you are taking a look at them. This 5 is the people who are not jogging and not doing aerobics. That goes here. And then you're going to fill in your other numbers. Anyone have anything as you are looking? So I'm going to be checking 3 today. I'm going to be checking 5A that you had done from Friday, where you had your graphs. And I'm going to be looking at your 5B that you were working on Friday's class. As you look, this is what the project is going to look like. So you're going to write down your 2 yes/no questions that I've approved. If you're not sure that I approved yours, write them down on the back or someplace else so I can check them. On a large piece of paper, now first you're going to just do this either in the back of your workbook or on a notebook paper to create a two-way table, a relative frequency showing row and a Venn diagram. And I'll explain that in just a minute. You're going to complete by using sentences, answering the questions. That might be where you get tomorrow. Okay, you're going to have tomorrow's class period to make the nice poster. I have some yellow, it's a little bit bigger than just like paper size, that you are going to be doing your project on. So everyone tomorrow will come in and grab one of these sheets of paper. And some of you have great handwriting, but some of you not so great. So when you go to make this poster, you might have your questions that you say, I wondered if people that like chocolate also are in orchestra, right? So those are your two questions. Do you like chocolate and are you in orchestra? I don't think anyone has those two, right? Those are my two questions. I write down the person's name. I say, what's your first? And since we're going to be doing this in class, except my people that aren't here are going to have to write first and last name. You're going to put a yes and a no, okay? Then, on your practice, you're going to put your question right up here, okay? Your question is, do you think people that like chocolate also are involved in orchestra, right? I am then going to have a two-way table, okay? What does my two-way table look like? And so I'm going to do this today after I've surveyed my 15 people. I'm going to start making this two-way table, and I'm going to put chocolate, no chocolate, total. I am going to put over here, I am going to put orchestra, no orchestra, and total. And I'm going to make that two-way table, right? So I'm going to make that in this spot, okay? This is my practice. Because tomorrow, when you make this, we want this to be really neat. So might it be that you're going to type this up? I have some people do this all in a Word document because they want it to be really nice and neat. They wanted to print things out and do it. I'm going to have markers and colored pencils up here. What else do you have to do after you've made the two-way table? You also have to do a row relative frequency. That's where you find the percentages. You're going to be doing that right below here. So maybe you do your row relative frequency. And you're going to want to space it out nice. Mine is getting a little crowded here. And then you're going to have your Venn diagram, right? What if people don't like chocolate and aren't in orchestra? If people that like chocolate, none of them are in orchestra. Will my circles overlap in this Venn diagram? No. So is it possible that your Venn diagram could be chocolate, right, and orchestra, and they had nothing in common, right? Because they didn't have any overlap. If they have overlap, if you had people say yes to both questions, those are going to be the number of people that are here out of 15. If you had someone say no to both questions, right? I do not like chocolate and I'm not in orchestra, that number of people is going to be sitting right outside here, right? So this is going to be the intersection. This is the people just chocolate, just orchestra. This is both. This is neither. Here, I could have my neither still outside here. They don't like chocolate or orchestra, or not in orchestra. But there's no overlap, right? So that changes as you do those relative frequencies, and that's why I was looking at your questions and trying to get you to think of ones that you're interested in. If someone has a different question, other than what we talked about last week, and you're like, you know what, I'm more interested in what people think about whatever, you can change your question. It doesn't have to be that. So I had some people come up with them, and they're like, you know what, after this weekend, I'm wondering if people are doing this with their free time or going outside or something about face masks or something about, I don't care, right? But you got to check with me. So I want to take a look at the rubric. So on the back, if you turn to the back, you're going to have these questions. My guess is you can't do these questions until you've done the interview and made the two-way table, relative frequency, and the next part. So the two-way table, you correctly set it up for 5 points. Relative frequency, correctly set it up. You can see what 3, 1, and 0 points are. The Venn diagram, you correctly set it up. Answer the question. So each question is going to be 5 points, right? So we have question 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're correct, but the answer may or not be a complete sentence. So if you don't like using sentences, I'm going to take off points. correct answer, attempted to correct. And then the poster design. Information on the poster was clearly communicated. You laid it out. There was color, there was clarity. I could read it nicely. So I will tell you, if you look at some of the ones in the Team Center that you guys did for that in the front, you could probably put it on the back of this. You want to put it on the front? You can put it on the front. Okay? Besides that, the rest of this today, you don't have an assignment unless you haven't finished 3 or 5A. So I'm going to let you get started. If you finish and tonight you want to work on DreamBox, awesome. I would at least try and get through making the relative frequency, maybe the row, and do it all like on the back page of your workbook, where you kind of have a white piece of paper, or do it on another sheet of paper. Just kind of write down and do it all here after you've answered your question. Questions as you look at what you're starting today on here. All right, so the key thing is